I was compelled to do this video because I am sick of pro-police propaganda. You would think every single cop, every single person who put on the uniform and grabbed that ring of power and exerted their authority over the rest of us, they're all heroes. They're all angels. There's not a devil among them. It doesn't matter how bad they are going to get a hero's funeral. They're going to block off traffic. They're going to shut everything down, and a whole bunch of cops are going to come out of the woodwork, and they're going to honor this fellow who probably lived his life making the lives of others worse. And when I look at pictures like this, two questions come to mind. Well, first of all, two words: brown shirts. And the second thing is, could you not find a hat that actually fits you? I mean, where's the rest of your head? It looks like it's photoshopped. This is so ridiculous and so infuriating. I want to point out a couple things in this Fox 29 Philadelphia news report that is absolutely disgusting, and no news reporter is acting as a journalist. They're acting as a propagandist. Check this out.
Speaking of that procession that is taking place right now.
We now know the identities of the 3 officers who were shot and killed in the line of duty in York County.
In the line of duty. And what was their duty? Their duty was to bow down to and put on the uniform for their corporate masters and enforce, with the punctuation and inflection and italics and underlined and bold on the word force, enforce corporate traffic codes against the will of the people, in violation of unalienable rights that are outlined in the Constitution, that all these cops, all these brown shirts, specifically with the Pennsylvania Highway Patrol, swore to protect and defend and uphold.
One used to patrol the streets of Philadelphia.
That's right.
Patrol.
That's 53-year-old.
Patrol like a carjacker.
Detective Mark Baker. The DA up there says that Mark Baker and 39-year-old Detective Sergeant Cody Becker were killed.
So Baker, Becker, and M. Heiser. M. Heiser! Snap your boots together. M. Heiser! He's coming down the street. M. Heiser!
43-year-old Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser. All shot and killed by a 24-year-old. His name is Matthew Ruth.
And by the way, Matthew Ruth might be a scumbag, but we know the background of each and every one of these people. They're going to say they have a combined 6 decades of service to the thin blue line, as they continue to define and draw divisions with that thin blue line of the haves and the have-nots, the people who have special badge protected uniform displaying rights, while the rest of us have no rights at all.
With an AR style rifle.
Of course.
Officials say all 3 were longtime veterans of the Northern York County Regional Police Force, with almost 6 decades of combined service. And we're also learning details about what led up to this horrible incident. The DA up there says interactions with the gunman began the day before at his ex-girlfriend's home.
She called police to her house Tuesday because he was outside in camouflage, peering in with binoculars and holding a rifle.
I'm not believing any of this story until I see the release of body cam, dash cam footage. They launch drones. Let's see the drone footage. Let's hear the 911 calls. Let's see what's really going on, because all we're seeing is what fake stream media is saying, which is the information fed to them by the Fraternal Order of Police. And we're going to hear from them in a second.
She and her mother fled for their safety after officers weren't able to find Ruth that night. Police followed up Wednesday with an arrest warrant, and 6 officers scoured the property with a drone. And that's when they noticed the door to the home was unlocked. The officers, wearing bulletproof vests, opened it and immediately were ambushed.
And this kind of detail in particular, when you're talking about a warrant, is some of the most absolute dangerous work our police officers do.
I personally knew them very, very well.
I'm serious. Where is the rest of this guy's head? How does a regular human head fit into that floppy looking, ridiculous looking hat?
They were wonderful. They're mission driven, and that day they continued their mission.
Mission driven, not people driven, with one primary objective: no matter what, make it home safe at the end of your shift. Even if you have to off a pet, even if you have to throw down an elderly woman breaking her hip, even if you have to grab a guy with dementia in Walmart and throw him down, causing a concussion. Even if you have to kill a Johnny Hurley who just got done saving the entire Arvada Police Department from a mad gunman who was specifically gunning for law enforcement officials.
Well, their mission is now complete.
And then also we need to continue to mention that another Northern York County Regional Police detective and a York County Sheriff's deputy were injured. They remain in critical but stable condition, so many people are praying that they'll be all right. Investigators say Ruth was killed during an exchange of gunfire. They also say he shot and killed his ex-girlfriend's family dog.
Yeah.
So they're saying Matthew Ruth, actually killed the family dog. I want to see the body cam on that, because it could be that they're pinning the killing of this dog on Matthew Ruth when, as we've seen many, many times, cops lie, cameras don't. It could have been the cops who offed the dog. But they ain't done yet with the propaganda.
And we're also learning that the most experienced of the three detectives killed was a former Philadelphia police officer.
Hank, tell us more.
Yeah, tell us more, Hank.
Well, I mean, it was bound to be, right? I mean, we have a huge police academy here that trains hundreds and then thousands of officers, not just for Philadelphia. A lot of times, career-wise, they wind up going to higher salaries in the ring counties or further out. So it was bound to be that a guy like Mark Baker, it turns out he, yes, did have roots here in the Philadelphia Police Department going back nearly 2 decades, guys. So, of course...
How much criminality has this guy been involved in? How many times has he invoked qualified immunity while trampling some poor American's rights? How much has he extracted from the tax cattle in the state of Pennsylvania under economic terrorism and protecting and serving?
Of course, they remember him very well.
How much overtime has he stolen, like Detective Brian Fahey?
Here, and there is the shot of Detective Mark Baker in that picture, a member of the Northern York County Regional Police Department, the role in which he was serving.
Hey, in YouTube algorithms, I'm just asking questions. I don't know what the answers are, but we do see a pattern. We do see what happens when power-hungry psychopaths are attracted to the vacuum of power and get corrupted by more and more power, because power does tend to corrupt, and absolute power tends to corrupt absolutely. And I can't think of a more absolute power than the power of qualified immunity.
When he and 2 other officers were shot to death in that ambush on Wednesday trying to serve a stalking and loitering warrant in a domestic situation. Most police can't stand those for obvious reasons. Baker got his start in police work here in Philadelphia, 25th District, and then in Highway Patrol. His loss is deeply felt here as well.
It's really heartbreaking to know that he was one of our officers.
There we go, right there. You think the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, is on your side? What do they specialize in? They specialize in deception, lying on reports, hoodwinking Americans, sitting behind signs and billboards so they can get us, so they can write those tickets and fulfill those quotas.
And for this to happen, it just, there's no words to describe how we feel about that. Mark was a very honorable police officer for the years he was here.
Honorable police officer, that's like trustworthy politician or airline food or military intelligence, tight slacks, jumbo shrimp, deafening silence. Oxymorons, guys, all over the place.
He started his career in the 25th District. He then moved to Highway Patrol.
Oh God, Highway Patrol. It's the worst of the worst. Now you got troopers out there and their sole job is to generate revenue no matter what. The scourge and the cancer of the body of the American experiment.
And after 3 years of spending time in Philadelphia, he made that decision to go to York County to serve there for the past 20 plus years. Knowing Mark and knowing now what happened, it just breaks our heart.
And what's worse is we have lemmings out there holding American flags, the very symbol of freedom, as they honor somebody who is completely entwined in the policies that foisted tyranny and oppression.
It's like it hit home again.
Now, Mike, Alex, in a photograph, the key reason it hits home so hard right here is this picture, that of Sergeant Patrick McDonald on the FOP's Wall of Heroes. Sergeant McDonald was killed in the line of duty back in 2008, a traffic stop in which he was shot. His partner on the highway patrol, Detective Mark Baker. And that...
Yeah, let's explore that a little bit. Back on September 23rd, 2008, McDonald, this guy on the left right here, pulled over a red 1995 Buick occupied by a driver and a passenger for a simple traffic violation. There's been no details on exactly what that traffic violation is, but they do insist that it was just a routine traffic stop. The passenger, later identified as 26-year-old Daniel Giddens, a violent felon, wanted, what was he wanted for? An outstanding arrest warrant for defending himself against attackers. I'm sorry, the way they have it written is assaulting police officers who usually serve as thug attackers. During a prior traffic stop 2 days earlier, this guy provided a false name when asked for identification. Well, first of all, you should know, even back in 2008, that a cop should not be asking for the ID of the passenger. I mean, he can ask, but the only reason he is asking is so he can make that passenger insecure in his person. So the passenger gave a false name. And during the pursuit, when McDonald ordered Giddens to exit the vehicle, Giddens instead jumped out of the driver's side door and fled on foot, with the driver also escaping. McDonald gave chase on foot through nearby streets. So you have an attacker proceeding with the attack, chasing these guys who didn't do anything wrong. They didn't commit a crime. They didn't harm anybody, threaten to harm anybody, steal property, damage property, and not pay for it. They just stopped on a routine traffic stop. They were being harassed by a law enforcement agent who was doing the opposite of protecting and serving them. During the foot pursuit, Giddens turned and fired multiple shots at McDonald on the 1700 block of Colorado Street, striking him several times in the torso. McDonald was rushed to Temple University Hospital, but succumbed to his injuries shortly after arrival around 5:45 p.m. In response and in the aftermath, officers responding to the scene engaged Giddens, who was armed with a handgun. A shootout ensued, resulting in Giddens being fatally wounded by return fire. A second officer was also wounded in the exchange, but survived with non-life-threatening injuries. The streets were cleared for a procession, escorting McDonald's body from the hospital to the morgue, lined by rows of saluting officers, and a hero's plaque with a ceremony by the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, was placed in the police station in honor of Road Pirate McDonald. It's amazing to me how they use euphemisms and play on the emotions of the moment to try to propagandize and paint these guys as heroes when nothing could be further from the truth, in my opinion.
Is why the loss rings home as hard as it does. It's Baker, it's the memories of McDonald, and the knowledge that both officers were taken far too early, guys, and both of them in the line of duty. And I don't know how many times we've seen it, certainly here. Some recent memories of the New Jersey State Patrol. Whenever something like this, God forbid, happens, police from all over the area, all over the region descend for the services. You can imagine how many are going to come out to York County for this one in particular. FOP has already sent representatives out to be of service to family and to police out there.
What if you heard that a Crip or Blood died in the line of his gang's duty? What if you heard that a carjacker died in the line of duty? A hostage taker died in the line of duty. A professional extortionist died in the line of duty. This line of duty bullcrap isn't a necklace of honor. It's a Kevlar vest of darkness and shame. And that's just my opinion. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. If you want, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. I am not a cop hater. I stand against all bad cops who violate rights. The question is there such a thing as a good cop? I'll see you in the next video.